welcome back to the channel, and today we're talking WWE 2K20, and we're talking the Firefly Fun House. It's a whole lot of fun, prizes to be won, it's a real crazy show where anything can go. Oh wait a minute, that's Pat Sharp's Fun House, my bad. Anyway, before we get into it, I want to make sure you subscribe to the channel with the notification bell turned on so you stay up to date with all my WWE Games content. Now, Bray Wyatt has gone through a repackage and it's much more extensive than anything we've seen with him before. Usually he goes away, then he comes back, and there's not too much different. But this time he's returned, and he's returned with the Firefly Fun House, and he's brought some friends with him. Those being Abby the Witch, Mercy the Buzzard, and the Rambling Rabbit. Now this is so different to anything we've seen before with Bray Wyatt, and it is rather risky from WWE, because from what I understand, networks are already wanting this gimmick to be pulled because it does portray Bray Wyatt as a child entertainer but with a sinister undertone. Not quite PG, but it has felt in recent months that WWE are trying to push the boundaries a little bit more. So with this all in mind, it's likely that Bray Wyatt will be this gimmick in WWE 2K20. Now we don't know what he's going to look like when he's in ring. Is he going to wear the attire that he's wearing in the Firefly Fun House? That is yet to be determined. But as soon as we see that, then we will get an even better indication of what Wyatt will be like in 2K20. Now, with Bray Wyatt coming into 2K20 with this new look, it leads me to think about something else that could be introduced in the next installment of the WWE Games franchise. Now last year we saw the Wyatt compound, and albeit it was quite restricted, we weren't able to do too much with it. It was used in my career much more extensively, but in exhibition it was much more of a shell. Just somewhere where you could roam around. You couldn't interact with any items or anything like that. Now, as 2K went to the efforts to put the Wyatt compound in, I would like this year in WWE 2K20, as part of Bray Wyatt and his new gimmick, I would like to see the Firefly Fun House featured in WWE 2K20, and I would like it to be all interactive. So you'd be able to interact with Abby the Witch, you'd be able to interact with Mercy the Buzzard, and of course the Rambling Rabbit. And not just that, I think if you're Bray Wyatt, you could play particular mind games, you could really get into the head of your opponent, and it could be a very fun part of a game. And of course, the mission statement from last year by 2K was to make WWE games fun again. So if that was the mission statement, then this would be the perfect opportunity and the perfect gimmick to take forward. Now, 2K, let's just remember, this is a video game after all. So 2K don't have to follow everything that WWE is doing. It could be like a full game mode, like Defeat the Streak, or Proving Ground, which we've seen in previous WWE games, or maybe even like a 2K Tower, a very bizarre and out there 2K Tower, where you have to travel through the Firefly Fun House, defeating Abby the Witch, Mercy the Buzzard, Rambling Rabbit, and getting to Bray Wyatt. And there could be so many things that are entwined into that tower. That would be a cool tower to play, and considering that towers are very standard and very basic, you're just basically playing matches one by one, working your way up a ladder, something that's a little bit more crazy might be a welcomed addition. So I think you could do all of that, or alternatively you could just give us the shell of the Firefly Fun House, but in my opinion it needs to be interactive. There needs to be things that can be done. You can go and interact with one of the puppets. You can go and interact with objects and items, because if you can't, there's really no point. It was great to have the Wyatt compound as a backstage area to create things for my universe, which I produce for YouTube. But if I wasn't producing YouTube content, I would see no value in having it. You can just simply brawl there, and you can do that already in the ring. So I would say, don't just give us the shell, give us something that's got a bit more meaning. And I'd actually love to see lots of interactive backstage areas, not just with what we've got with the backstage brawl, but things we've seen over years and years in WWE. One that springs to mind, and just because it was so interactive when it happened in WWE, was the barbershop. And of course, Brutus the Barber Beefcake went into the Hall of Fame this year. So why couldn't you have the barbershop and you could interact with Brutus the Barber Beefcake? He's hosting the barbershop, and you have the opportunity to brawl in the barbershop, and of course you could throw your opponent through the barbershop window. So, you know, I'm just thinking maybe some of these interactive backstage areas would be very cool from historical times, or just things that 2K want to put in. But again, it just makes it different. It gives it that fun aspect, and it also gives you more places, if you are creating YouTube content, for you to record in. So you could be in the barbershop. You could then make that a weekly segment in your universe mode, the barbershop with Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Now I know out there we've got some very creative people already who have created things like the Firefly Fun House as an arena in WWE 2K20. So people are showing great interest for this already, and I do think as long as WWE pull this off, because, you know, it's early days, this might all go, you know, and be a tremendous failure. But if WWE keep going with this and building it nicely, I think 2K should certainly tap into it. And I think some sort of interactive backstage area or a mode where you have to work your way through the Firefly Fun House would just be so different and so exciting. I remember being at the test play for WWE 2K20. I say test play, it was a media event, so we weren't testing the game. I apologise. We weren't testing anything at that time. The game was done. But we were at that media event, and it was at the Performance Centre, and we watched the trailer, and this was the first time we saw the trailer for 2K19, and we saw the Wyatt compound, which was taken from my career. We saw the zombie Triple H, and we were like, what the hell is this? This is not what we expected. It was so different. And then when we actually played the game, you then saw that it was just one instance of Triple H being a zombie. For the most part, the stuff in the Wyatt compound was for my career. It wasn't actually a mode that you could play. I think people thought we were going to get a zombie mode. We didn't. And once you began to realise that those things weren't quite what the trailer alluded to, you were a little bit disappointed. So they introduced the fun element back slightly, but they didn't go all out. So maybe 2K20 is the opportunity, and I know people out there want to see more fun in a WWE game. I still want the simulation based style game because I enjoy how I create matches with this type of game, but I'm still all for them having an alternate arcade mode in the game and also making it more fun so you have the option. You can choose, and that's what it should be all about. So I want to get your views and opinions on this. I want to know what you think of introducing a Bray Wyatt Firefly Fun House to WWE 2K20. How would you see it working? Would you go down the route of a 2K tower? That's an option. And if you were going to do that, what would you like to see? Would you like to see some crazy characters with Abby the Witch and Mercy the Buzzard, where you actually have to wrestle or fight them? I think that would be very interesting and very different. But I want to understand what you think. I personally didn't enjoy 2K Towers. I played the $1 Million Challenge, I played the $1 Million Tower, but apart from that, I didn't really venture into that mode because for me, it's just like playing exhibition matches. One by one, climbing a ladder. You don't get anything, you know, amazing in return for it. So I think, you know, and I looked at the 2K forum this year, it didn't seem like many people were really that interested in that part, that section. So if they were going to do something like this, that could really make 2K Towers much more fun and much more entertaining. Or of course they could just give us the shell and make it more interactive. And when I talk about the interactiveness, I'm thinking a bit like what we had in the SmackDown vs Raw video games, where you could go and interact with items and certain things happen. And I'd imagine you could interact with Abby the Witch, Mercy the Buzzard and the Rambling Rabbit, and the outcome of interacting with them could be different sorts of things. So I do think I'm scratching the surface here, but I want to hear from you guys and see what you think. I'm also very interested to see what Bray Wyatt's actually going to look like when he gets to the ring in WWE as part of this new gimmick. At the moment, he's very teacher-esque. But is he actually going to wear that when he gets to a WWE ring? Is he going to be a bit like Baron Corbin, who wears, you know, not so much ring gear, but more of an attire? Is that what he's going to come across like? I don't know. I'm very intrigued. I still think we're going to see a different looking Bray Wyatt. So you'll have this split personality that in the Firefly Fun House he's one thing, in the WWE he's something else. He may be, you know, I don't think he'll go back to being the old Bray Wyatt, but it will be very different because there is that sinister tone under him. And once we see that, I mean, this could make something even more cool for a WWE game. So I'm excited if 2K would take something like this forward. I think it's a bit off the wall, it's a bit out there, but it would bring the fun aspect back and tie into the mission statement that WWE Games put out last year. So let me know what you think, have your say in the comments section. Would you like to see the Firefly Fun House in a WWE game? And if so, how would it work? And all that's left to be said is please rate, comment and subscribe. This is Delzinski, signing out.